Well done, game. You've summed up what it's like to be me. What are you doing? I don't know. Okay, well, what are your goals? I don't know. Who are you? I'm not sure. I'm this pair of white hands, and everything I try seems to do nothing. So, it'd be great if something I tried did something. Well, you don't see that every day. Peculiar weather we're having here.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse.
Yep, there it goes.
I've tried to speculate where it might have landed, but I must admit that such conjecture is futile.
It's probably Illinois.
Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my MYST book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Well, whose is, right? MYST. Push the left thumbstick forward to move. Ah! I was expecting it to teleport, and it did not. All right, let's see. Once upon a time, there was water and an island in MYST. Right? It's a misty island, right? All right. So this is our first location, boys and girls. This is the island of MYST, which is spelled with a Y, so that's the name of the island and not a description of the atmospheric conditions. So to get into it, you just be like, I'ma touch the island now, and it will absorb my essence. Too much? Should I tone it back? I don't know. Welcome to the island of MYST. It actually is pretty misty. They really could have just spelled it with an I. But anyway, so here's the boat I arrived on, and I did a terrible parking job. All right, I'm gonna be straight with you. I'm gonna be honest. This is like the third time I have started this game here. The first time I was just like, hey, let's just hop into this blind with no idea what's happening, and I have like an hour and a half of me just wandering around going, what am I doing and why? And I might release that later just so you can watch it and be like, oh, that poor guy. Anyway, so I figured a few things out, and so this is going to be sort of a quick, I already know what's going on, quick in quotes, tour around the island. Is I'm gonna play through this having already done enough research to know what's going on, because the first time I was just like, because the game tells you nothing. Like, it looks nice, it's beautiful, there's a lot of cool mechanics, like things to do, but you show up and you're like, hey, I just pulled that up. Did that turn something on? And the game goes, I'll never tell. And you're like, come on. Shouldn't there be like a green light that turns on when you flip a switch up? And the game goes, I'll never tell. And you're like, all right, well, is this on? No, like it doesn't tell you anything. Okay, where can I go to discover what this does? And the game goes, I don't know. Like, come on, game. Where am I supposed to go? And the game just goes, good luck. And you're like, okay, well, why am I here? Who am I, and why am I on this island? And the game goes, I don't know. And so, and that's it. So, it's just mind-bogglingly frustrating. Anyway, that's my lousy parking job. So let me show you where you have to go to see that switch is actually turned on. Welcome to, I don't know what this is. I'm calling this the Museum of MYST Island. Welcome to the Museum of MYST Island and Library. So we've got some books here, most of which are burnt to a crisp, which is kind of awkward. Like, we have 5 good ones. And there's a lot of reading you can do, but the rest of these have just been burned to the point where they're pretty pixelated. So over here, ta-da, this represents that first switch I threw. So this is the island. This is the tower on the island. This is the building we're in now. And this is that first switch. Now the switch is over here. So why it puts it there, I don't know. I don't know why it does that. But just to make it slightly more frustrating, they're all like, oh, you threw the switch here? Boop. I'm like, all right, so watch. This is the planetarium. It opens later today, about 11 o'clock. Throw a switch, see, nothing happens, no indication. So what do? Well, I wander back into the MYST museum and library. And look, this turned on. It's the planetarium now. So as you flip all those switches, more stuff comes on the map here, which if you look close, it's even got oil painting texture, but you gotta be kind of close to see it. But it's a nice touch. Like, the design in this game is really cool. All right, so we have a book with blue page over here, book with red page over there. I will get to those later, but one thing that I walked right past without noticing, which you might have noticed on my way up here, is there's a note sitting here. Catherine, I've left for you a message of utmost importance in our forechamber beside the dock. Enter the number of marker switches on this island into the imager to retrieve the message. Yours, Atras. So this is where I'm like, hey game, am I Catherine? And the game goes, maybe. I'm like, oh, there's no way to know. Okay, so that's the dock. And so how many of those are there? Well, we have to wander around and find out. So I'm gonna, oh no, oh no. Oh no. Oh, Myst, why would you do this to me? You could tell my confidence. It had to strike me down with all of its hatred. So that's a marker switch, and I got 2 of them turned on. So I'm gonna go flip all of them on and see how many there are now. So I've got 2 turned on. Up here, I've got some giant machinery, which just looks terrifying. Like, can you imagine being here when those are flipped on? Certain doom! 3. 3 switches. Now, on the other side of the museum and library, there's a rocket ship. Like, how dope is that? Like, it gets kind of old-timey, kind of steampunkish. You're like, hey, I'm on MYST Island. 4. Can I get in? No, I cannot. But you can see there's some electrical wires leading off into the distance, so most likely if we flip on some generators somewhere, it'll power up this ship and we can fly off to places unknown. Not by us, because we just started playing the game. But they're, you know, they're known by whoever built the ship, because why else would you build it? So in front of the museum, there's this long pathway to that clock there. And on both sides, you can see these little boxes. And if you turn this on, little pictures appear. Look, it's an ostrich. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I haven't figured that out yet. Here's a model of a boat that sank. So, you know, I don't feel so bad about what I did, because apparently that's just a thing people do here. 5, I think. 6. And that's number 7. You know what? Let's see. There's one more. Yes, there is one more. There's 8 over here by the little log cabin in the woods. Now, the log cabin in the woods is by this little cylinder of brick. Now, you see there's a tree, and you might think, all right, it's just a tree. But no, look. It's like rocket tree. Rocket tree. I mean, it's like a tree rocket is what I meant, although that works too. So we got to figure out what this thing does, because I suspect it's a pathway to the sky. Yeah, or it's a tree that got planted far too low. I don't know. I'm not the groundskeeper. Well, I might be. I don't know who I am. Could be some guy's wife named Catherine. I don't know who I am, and the game doesn't tell me. But the game did tell me how to get my voicemail, so I'm gonna go to the thing and punch in the number and see what Atras had to say. Over here near where I parked is a sort of underground bunker looking thing, and if you push the button, it lets you in. Dark and creepy. Can't be worse than my parking job. Let's go! And look, another button, which hopefully will let us out, because that door inevitably will close behind us. Yep, there it goes. If you're claustrophobic, you're gonna love this game! Ha ha! All right, welcome to... I have no idea what this is, but the music kicks up, so it's like something cool. I'm gonna push a button. Pushing a button! Wait, does it turn it off? Yeah, it just turns it off. All right. Great. So here we are in an underground lair where apparently we get our voicemail. And oh, look, someone left a note. Settings. Okay, how do you, like, turn it so it's, anyway. Marker switch diagram. So the note that we found upstairs was like, count all the marker switches. And you're like, oh, what's a marker switch? It's all like, oh, I'll show you what a marker switch is. Just push that big green button. There, that thing is a marker switch. In case you couldn't figure it out by the giant switch on top of it. Which, I'll be honest, the way this game goes, you got a 50-50 shot. Anyway, so the note said to enter the number of those things here to get our mail. So this has to go to 0, and I think there were 7. Let's see if I'm right. Were there 7? Come on, 7. Maybe there were 8. Maybe there were 8. Oh!
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine, it's one of our sons. I suspect Outta, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. I should have known not to have left my library unchecked for so long. I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in the places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return, but if you've forgotten the access key, remember the tower rotation, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, and erase this message after you've viewed it, just to be safe.
So at this point, I still don't know if I'm Catherine or if I'm just getting someone else's mail. All right, so he said, remember the tower rotation. So that means we have to go to the tower. I bet there's other things you can enter in there and see stuff, but I don't know what they are. So I bet we'll find out later. The cave is kind of cool. I mean, because of the, technical constraints of the Oculus Quest, some things are a little low poly, but for the most part, it's a nice looking game. They make good environments. I'm enjoying it. Compared to the original from 1993, it's a step up, because I'm in the game. Still kind of confused as to what's going on. Like, am I Catherine? I feel like I should know that, right? Like, I don't want to be too picky, but starting a game, I should know if I can't remember his name, hold on. Atris. I should know if I'm Atris's wife, Catherine, right? That's something I should know about me. Am I Catherine? Am I married to Atris? I feel like that could, have an effect on the story. Instead, I'm just a pair of white hands. They're kind of blue tinged. They look nice. Where was I? All right, tower. Oh, okay, so he said, don't forget about the tower rotation. So that's the tower. And if you rotate the tower, it points at these different things to tell you how to use them to access other worlds. Now you might be thinking, how does he know that? Haha, because I've already played this, and these books I've already read. Now, you might think, all right, look, it's got some reading, because usually in a video game, you pick up a piece of paper and you're like, all right, this tells me something. But in here, these books just keep going and going and going. So let me give you a brief summary of the books. This one tells the story. It says Channelwood. Channelwood, I believe, is a world in the trees. So there's monkey people that lived in the trees, and there were humans that lived on, I think, this island. And then the island sank into the ocean and killed most of the people, and the monkeys escaped into the sky somehow. The details are a little vague. The guy you just saw leaving the voicemail for his wife, Catherine, he wrote these journals. These are his journals explaining what he learned when he made these new worlds and went to visit them. So he finds these monkey people, and they have with them a super old human who's all like, here's what happened back in the day. And then he falls out of a tree to his death, and they have a funeral for him. And that's kind of the content of this book. This one is where he's learning how to make worlds, and apparently by writing in other books that aren't here, he can make new worlds. Like, you write, once upon a time there was an island, and the island comes to be, and he can travel to them. So in here he's talking about one called Stone Ship, and they don't refer to them as planets or universes, but they call them ages. So the Stone Ship age, which might be because they don't have, they aren't happening at the same time. They're just so distinctly different universes that they're happening at different times. So Stone Ship, I believe he's got a picture in here. He tries to make a ship around this island, and instead it actually fuses the ship onto the island. Let me see, I think he's got a picture of it in here. Yeah, there you go. So the ship becomes part of the island. So it didn't work, like he was new at it. Also, apparently he makes this lighthouse thing. He makes the lighthouse because there's people somewhere off the island that are able to swim to his island, and he makes the lighthouse so they can find it. Then there's this one, which is the Selenic Age of Mist. So this one doesn't seem to have any people, but it does have trees and stuff. But then there's like volcanic activity and meteorites, and things get destroyed, and he has to escape. And then he goes back and is all like, well, most of the place is a desert except this little oasis of trees. And he gives you a picture of a piano, which you have to use to get the rocket ship to work, which he shows you in the previous pages here. So the rocket ship that's sitting outside is run by piano. No, not finally. Mechanical Age. I believe these guys are raided by pirates. So he's all like, hey, you guys are getting your butts kicked by pirates. I can help you there. So they fortify the place and they make it into a fortress because it's been fortified. So this fleet of black pirate ships comes and attacks, and they fight most of them off, and they're like, hey. But one of the things you learn in there is the sky is gray, and apparently the sky won't turn blue again until the evil pirates are all destroyed. So someday they're coming back, and there's going to be a showdown, I guess. And then this thing, I don't know what this is called. It's burned, but this tells you how to open the fireplace. And then there's literally just 30 pages of this. And these are a code system for when you go in there, there's this big panel that looks like this, and these you activate and they light up, but I don't know why. Hasn't shown up yet, so I have no idea. So that is like 2 hours of reading I just saved you, but feel free if you're in the game to sit down and like literally sit down. It's going to take you a while. These are all fairly lengthy. But sit down and have a read. All right, so there's the library of journals that tell you about the different worlds you can visit. Now, about Atreus' sons, or Catherine and Atreus' sons. So here's this messed up world that's static. So you remember the books are a portal into other worlds. Well, what happens if you pick up this page? It's part of this book and it wants to go back. Tell me more, book. Who are you? What have I done? Who am I? You're in a book.
You must help me.
But why?
Bring me a red page.
It's just dead.
I can't see. Need a red page. You must. Please bring me. Beg of you, bring page.
You could just say please. Can't be serious. What do you got? Sprint?
One thing I need to be rescued. You must
Get you a provider other than AT&T? Right. Is that it? Are you done? All right. So this book doesn't go anywhere. It's bolted in place. So that's Cirrus. He is one of the children that you heard about, and here's the other one in the blue book with knives on the cover. Probably a good sign, sure. Well, how could it not be? Look, here's a blue page. It wants to go to the book. All right.
Serious?
Oh.
Stop.
Nope. I might be Catherine. I'm not sure.
You.
Who are you? Who?
I see you.
You can see me. I can hear you.
You Miss Akinar.
Akinar, is that your real voice?
Help me. Bring me pages.
Why? Hey, Akinar.
Forever and ever.
Okay.
Pages.
Uh-huh. And? Your reception's terrible. Where are you?
Have the blue pages.
You must get out of the basement when you're making a call. Come on, man.
2.
You're up like 0 bars, but oh, he did say please. All right, he said please. Now this guy has knives on the cover and he seems kind of crazy, but he did say please. Whereas this guy has, I don't know, geometry? Pfft, whatever. All right, so if you take a look at these paintings here, this one is a picture of the outside. You can see the trees and blah-de-blah-de-blah. And this one is a stairway into a portal, which, I mean, could be anywhere. So here's our island. Now, if you take the tower, which is this thing, and you rotate it, at certain points, the line turns red. You drop it off there and you're like, all right, now the tower is facing toward that rocket ship. Well, how do we get upstairs to the tower? Well, going outside doesn't help, so how about if I pull this down? Whoa, the painting, what did it do? It opened a doorway, and I can walk all over these precious books. So, let me tell you something. For my first time through here, I was like pulling out or pulling up. Apparently, I never pulled down because this never happened. My second time through, and after a little cheating on Google, you know, like, oh, pull down on the handle. Sometimes you just need to try things in more than one direction. All right, so welcome to the elevator. This must have taken a while to make, so there's nothing around the outside really. But if you head inside, turn around, close the door, you can go to the library. It's not much of a library, but for your purposes, you'll learn what you need to know. That's the important thing. And welcome to the library. All the shore is going to shore. So there's the book. Now let me show you how this works here. You climb the ladder to the top. And as you look out, you see, oh, there is the rocket ship. So this is pointing toward the rocket, just like we saw downstairs. Down, there we go. Now on the other side of the room, there is a key, and then this. So this window, as you can see, the window moves. As the tower rotates, this window moves to different places. And this is the key to figure out the rocket. So whatever this is pointing at, this is the key to figuring it out. That's why this is the library. So 59 volts. Right now, that doesn't mean anything to us, but remember it because it's gonna mean something later. Now I'm gonna show you the rest of these because, you know, cheating. And if you don't wanna see the rest of them, I don't know, like skip ahead in the, look at the chapter menu and skip ahead. Of course, if you didn't wanna see spoilers, I don't know why you're watching this. Just go bumble around blindly for hours like I did in the beginning. Yeah, because that's what I did. All right, so coming back to the painting here, we're gonna turn this until it turns red again. Oh, there we go. So, whoop, right there, all right. So if you remember, that's where that tree was. So let's go back upstairs. Ah, nice. Let's go upstairs and see what it has to say about the tree. Rocket tree. I still think that's funny. Is it just me? It's probably just me. Now, once again, we're going to climb the ladder and see that it is pointing at the thing we told it to point at, which is the tree surrounded by the pointies. So, tree. Now you might be saying, well, what do we need to know about the tree? Ha! That will be revealed in time. And you'll be like, oh, I'm so glad I came to the tower/library. Because the key to figuring out the tree is 724. Now, either you can remember all of this just by rote, or you can write it down, take off the headset, jot it down, put the headset back on, or if you hold the right Oculus button and then push the trigger, right, it takes a photo and it shows you that. So now I have a photo of this that I can look back at and be like, oh, I don't remember what it was. Well, there it is. There's a little cheat for you. So the game developers say that they are going to have a note-taking system in the game in the near future. But for right now, taking photos with the Oculus is the best you can do. Unless you want to take off the headset and physically write things down. So I've just been taking photos. And so you can just hit your menu here and then go to this. And so there's your photo. And I can be like, all right, what was this? Oh, it's 724. So it's multiple steps, but it's not terrible. I mean, yeah, it takes you out of the game for a second, but like if you're really surprised that you aren't actually on Mist Island, maybe you shouldn't be playing video games. Maybe you should get yourself a therapist. All right, this one, what am I pointed at? I think I'm pointed at the, this is the astronomy tower here, the planetarium, as it were. So let's go back upstairs and see what it has to say about that. Walking around in VR, burn calories, I'd be in so much better shape because I'm just going miles in this game. So again, that'll be pointing at the astronomy tower. And here's what you need to remember. Again, all will be revealed. Later you're gonna walk in and be like, oh, I'm glad I know this. So again, if you hold the Oculus button and press the trigger, it saves a photo of what you're looking at. So there you go. All right, that leaves us, I believe, one more. Wow, nice stonework. Look at this. Marble floor. I didn't even look at that before. That looks nice. All right, so just to recap here. We had one for the rocket ship. Turning this way. We had one for the tree. Turning a little farther, we got one for the planetarium. And turning a little farther, we have one for the giant cogs over here. I'm not even sure what that's about. Probably the machine age, or whatever they called that. Mechanistic age. Let's go see what it's got to say. You know, maybe this isn't where you're going. Maybe this is where you are. Some things in this game don't make sense. I didn't make these decisions. I just bought the game so I could show it to all of you, my good friends. All right, welcome back to the tower. We've got one more thing you need to know. 240, 221. Once again, hold the Oculus button and press the trigger, the pointer finger button, the trigger button, and it takes a picture of it for you. And those are the things you need to know to start solving the island, whatever that means. I don't even know. But from what I have read, it doesn't matter which other world you go to first. I don't think there's an order that they make you go in or that you need to go in. But I'm gonna go to the rocket first because it's a rocket ship. Like, why would you not? So to get the door to open outside again, pull this down. That door comes up. Now let me just show you this while we're in here. By lifting that, this goes up. And then when you're in here, there's the panel of buttons, and you push them, they light up. I have no idea what these are for. I suspect that will be revealed later. But right now, no idea. That's where it is. If you figure out what it's for, let me know in the description or in the comments. You know, where you write stuff and you're like, hey, here's what things do. Now, if you remember, the rocket ship had this wire, and this is one of the reasons I started here, is because I had clues to go on. So there's a wire that goes from the rocket and goes all the way here, and it goes into this building here, and you can go into this building. So this building is a nice little brick building that goes into the rock below and immediately has scary music. What does it mean? It means we have an orchestra locked in the basement and the timpani players are getting restless. Right? Timpani players. Welcome to the generator room. It's got stuff, a bunch of things in it. Now, we have buttons that aren't labeled. And we got a fan that doesn't do anything. We have this indicator here and this indicator here, and you're like, nothing's labeled. What does it do? Well, instead of labeling the actual dials, somebody taped it to the wall over here. So power. So this is your total power. Power to ship, and then generator switches 1 through 5, and then 6 through 10. So let me show you the sort of nonsense. Push this button. What happens? You got 10 total power, 10 to the ship. Turn that off. Button number 2, 7 and 7. 8 and 8. 16 and 16. 5 and 5. So each of these buttons has a different number of volts that it produces. If you hit it right, you can actually see it spark up. All right, well, just imagine. 22. And finally, 9. So if you remember, the tower told us we needed 59 volts. So these, in no particular order, have random voltages. So we want this to get to 59 so that this will be 59. But one of the things that you discover is that if this goes too high, this shorts out and you have to go outside and reset the power lines in order to get the voltage again. So you have to figure out what combination of these can you punch in so that this equals 59, so that that's 59, so it powers the ship. Haha! So, you know, math. But I already did this, so I'm going to cheat. Oh no, I went too far. All right, I got careless. I put in too many volts. I didn't do the math properly, and I shorted out the rocket ship. So now I got to come out here. I got to reset. There's 2 of them. So you got to walk from one to the other, climb the ladder. Whoa, don't fall off the ladder. There we go, reset. That's what it said on the internet. Who am I to argue? All right, let's try this again. So this button is 9. Oh, I got this. Right? Is it 59? No, it's 57. It's 59. I'm going with 59. Let's go find out. Hear those wires humming? You hear that? Ah, that beautiful sound. Oop, don't touch. Might not be insulated. All right. Moment of truth. Here we go. Yes! Ha ha ha! It opened. We are ready to go to our next journey, our next adventure. Let's go! Foe! What does that mean? Okay, so here again, first of all, it's a rocket ship that has no seating. Like, he didn't build in any chairs or a couch. He built in an organ and whatever this thing is. So, you've got the organ. A little hard to play. Over here, you have these, which are sliders. You gotta grab them and slide up. When I first came in here, I couldn't get them to move because I was using my finger like this. You have to grab them and slide. You can't push them, just like you have to grab and slide that. So, here's where our book inside came in. It had a picture of the keyboard. That's the wrong button. Sorry. Let's make that a little bigger. There we go. All right, so number 1 is the low C. It's this one. And then number 2 is the high C. 3 is the D sharp. 4 is an F. And 5 is, what is that, B flat? So, here's the way it works, is that you have to set that to match these. So that's the mystery. Let me get back to resuming here. Boop. So, C1, come over here, the first one is C1. The next one is C2. So you come over here and you put this up to C2. It's a little finicky. Let's see, the third one was, what's the third one? D sharp, F, B flat. Okay. D sharp, F. Oh, it's an A sharp. You know, half dozen of one, 3 of the other. D sharp, F, A sharp. Haha! Success! And here is a book with pictures of little pointy rocks on them. What's it say? The Selenitic Age of Mist. The Selenitic Age. Welcome to the Selenitic Age, I guess. So we're going to open this puppy up. And look, it's a rocket ship. But instead of being on Mist Island, it's there in the Selenitic Age, where we will go together. Game on, my friends, and I will see you in the future on StoneToaster Gaming. Behold, the Selenitic Age, or whatever it's called. Ha 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 ha! I've made it! Now how do I get out of here?